One aspect of Watch Dogs, one that often goes unnoticed, yet defines the entire experience, is the pivotal role of the CTOS profiler. Not as a simple gameplay mechanic, but as a storytelling device that silently shapes the moral landscape of the game. It isn't just a tool that tells you who a person is or what they're doing. It's the window through which Aiden Pierce sees the world. And more importantly, it's the lens through which the player is forced to confront the reality of digital voyeurism. The profiler turns every random pedestrian into a character with a life, a struggle, a secret, or a flaw. And that one mechanic is responsible for making Watch Dogs 1 feel more grounded and more personal than any of the sequels. When you walk through the streets of the game, the profiler is constantly feeding you information. Someone is behind on rent, someone survived cancer, someone donates to charity, someone has a violent criminal record. These tiny fragments of data don't just humanize the NPCs, they complicate every single action you take. When Aiden steals money from an account, you might notice afterward that the victim is unemployed or drowning in medical debt. When you stop a crime in progress, the profiler has already briefed you on the emotional state of both the offender and the victim. This transforms a simple open-world crime intervention mechanic into something more intimate, because it reveals the very thing Watch Dogs is really about: the collapse of privacy and the weight of omniscience. It also reveals something deeper about Aiden himself. Despite being a vigilante motivated by revenge, Aiden relies on the profiler almost like a moral compass. He doesn't act randomly. He acts based on the data that morally justifies his involvement. But the irony is that the profiler, while giving him information, also distances him from people. Instead of seeing them as human beings, he sees them as case files. He sees statistics. He sees probabilities. By depending on this system, he becomes emotionally detached from the city he's trying to protect. And that disconnect is one of the most fascinating and subtle characterizations in the game, even if it's never explicitly addressed in the dialogue. The profiler also adds immersion to world building in a way that most open-world games don't attempt. It gives the illusion that everyone is living a full life outside of Aiden's story. Even if these life details are procedurally generated, their consistency and variety create the sense that the city operates independently of the protagonist. That's something Watch Dogs 1 does better than many games that came after it. It makes the world feel alive through data, not through large crowds or flashy NPC behavior. And because of this, Watch Dogs 1 is one of the few open-world games where simply walking down the street becomes an activity in itself. You learn about the city, not through museums or audio logs, but through everyday people statistically laid bare. However, the most interesting part is what this mechanic says about surveillance culture. The profiler subtly teaches the player how easy it is to judge someone by a single line of text. It normalizes instant assumptions. It gives you the power to determine who is suspicious, who is innocent, who is worth tailing, or who is a potential criminal. Without realizing it, players begin to adopt a mindset similar to Aiden's: hyper-observant, paranoid, and morally selective. The game never tells you this is happening. It simply lets you fall into the routine of digital watching, making you part of the very system the story warns about.